Hi, it's Norma from the Hanover Public Library with another book talk from my living room, since we can't be at the library right now. I hope you're staying safe and getting caught up on your reading. December 7th, 1941 was a beautiful Sunday morning in Hawaii, and the sailors aboard the ships of the American Pacific Fleet moored in Pearl Harbor were soaking up the sun and preparing for an onboard church service when a terrible surprise attack changed the world. What President Roosevelt called a day that will live in infamy would kill thousands of sailors and destroy much of the American Pacific Fleet. One of the sailors aboard the USS Arizona was a 19-year-old Nebraska farm boy named Donald Stratton. Burned across 2/3 of his body, Stratton found the will to haul himself with burned hands across a thin rope tethered to a neighboring supply ship. 45 feet above a flaming oil slick on water that was boiling with enemy bullets, Stratton made it to safety. Donald Stratton spent many months in hospital healing from his burns and learning to walk again. He went home to Nebraska for a while, but then he re-enlisted. He'd been present at the start of America's involvement in World War II and decided he should be in at the end as well. In early 1943, he was assigned to the USS destroyer Stack and participated in the final naval battles in the Pacific War, including Leyte Gulf and Okinawa. After the war, he married and raised a family, but he never forgot the friends he'd lost at Pearl Harbor. In 2016, Donald Stratton wrote a wonderful and very moving book about his experiences entitled All the Gallant Men, an American sailor's first-hand account of Pearl Harbor. This book is incredibly poignant, and I'm not ashamed to admit I teared up quite a bit while I was reading it. For one thing, Stratton's sorrow is as raw and deep in 2016 as it was 75 years earlier. He speaks of his shipmates and his need to remind the world of their sacrifice with passion and profound grief. He explores his constant questioning that's run through his mind all these years. Why me? Why did I survive? He comes to a sort of conclusion when he writes, "It will drive a body crazy, trying to do the math on that one and make the equation balance. Why I was saved from the fire, I will never fully understand. I no longer try to do the math. I wore out too many pencils a long time ago. Instead, I just say a prayer of thanks for me who made it, and a prayer of blessing for those who didn't, and one for the families that they left behind. It's the best I can do." What I found most moving about Stratton's book, though, was his struggle to forgive. He's very honest about how hard that was for him. He remained angry at the Japanese military and political leadership. He didn't feel like they deserved forgiveness for the horror they subjected their own people to and the egregious acts of violence during the war. But he did find forgiveness for the Japanese people, and with that forgiveness, a measure of peace in his own heart. The year after this book was published, Donald Stratton was able to do something that he'd long wanted to do. You see, when he was standing on the burning deck of the Arizona, it was a sailor from the Vestal, the ship next to the Arizona, who saved his life and that of 5 other crewmen. Joe George was commanded to cut the ropes that tethered his ship, the Vestal, to the Arizona, so that when the Arizona sank, it wouldn't drag the Vestal down with it. When Joe saw those 6 men standing on the Arizona, he left the rope that they were near so that they could get to safety on the Vestal. He defied orders to save lives, even when threatened with court-martial. His response was, "Go ahead and court-martial me then. I'm not leaving those men to die." In 2017, Donald Stratton was present when Joe George was awarded a posthumous Bronze Star for valor, and it was given to his family. Donald Stratton died in February of this year at the age of 97. He had succeeded in his self-appointed mission to tell his story in this book so that the world would not forget his friends, all the gallant men of the Arizona. What is history but the stories of men like Donald Stratton? What stories will we have to tell of courage and determination will make up the history of our time? This book's not currently available on OverDrive. I've recommended it to be added to the collection, but it may be one that you'll want to put on your list for when the library reopens. Stay well, be safe, and we'll see you back at the library soon.